Here are my top 10 tips for university or college. For context, I am in my final year of university studying computer science. Tip number 1, ask questions and go to office hours. Usually, classes will have a discussion forum where anyone can ask questions anonymously, and then classmates, TAs, or professors can answer the questions, and then you can see questions asked by other people as well. Or you can go directly to the TA or professor using their office hours or just emailing them. It's always good to clarify requirements on assignments or projects or what will be on an exam. It's also good if you're not understanding a concept and need it explained in more depth. There's never a bad question. The worst they can say is no. Unless it's the first day of classes and you ask what's on the final exam, probably shouldn't ask that. Tip number 2, start assignments and studying early. So this is easier said than done, but once you get an assignment released, try to start on it pretty soon or a couple weeks in advance, so that you're not cramming at the last minute and then you're losing sleep, and you also risk submitting late, which can be very costly, missing deadlines, and you could also more prone to cheat on an assignment if you're leaving it to last minute and then don't have it complete. Tip number 3, always go to class. Um, this is very important because sometimes they're recorded and sometimes they release lecture slides, but there's nothing like being there in person in class. Um, you just learn better, and you don't have to watch it later or study it later, um, which you'll put off, and then it'll be too late, or you just won't watch it at all. So, yeah, make sure to always go to class, whether that's pick better times. So if you don't like morning classes, try to pick classes in the middle of the day, and so you're more likely to go to those ones. And they might also give hints or other things that aren't in the slides that are useful for like exams and stuff. Tip number 4, don't worry about a couple bad grades. Um, so this is big. If you're getting really good grades in high school, for example, like I did, and then go into university, you have to lower your expectations because you won't be getting like high 90s all the time unless you just are, then that's great. But um, yeah, it's not the end of the world. What you want to make sure is you're doing well on the things worth large percentages of your grade. So you want to make sure, for example, final exams. If you do well on the final exams, you should be good for the course. And a lot of courses are curved as well. So I've multiple times I've gotten like 50% on something worth like 20 to 30% of my grade, but I still managed to get like an A minus because everyone else in the class did worse. So just try to get above average and you'll be fine. Tip number 5, go at your own pace. So I took 4 courses a semester and then took the summers off to work. Um, so that's just what I like doing. I'd recommend 4 classes a semester. That's a good balance. 5 is what is the standard, but not many people do that. So yeah, just realize 4 is a good amount. 3 if you want an easier semester. Just depends which courses you're taking. But yeah, 4 is a good in-between spot. Tip number 6, take electives you are interested in. Um, this is a big thing because the worst thing you can do is take a class and then it like puts you to sleep. It's like supposed to be a GPA booster, but it's so boring that you don't want to do the class. It's better to do a class you're interested in and you're motivated to work on and you get something out of the course, right? I took an archaeology elective and yeah, I was like almost falling asleep every lecture. This is not my thing at all. So yeah, make sure you're interested in the elective. No matter how difficult it is, it's more important to do one you're interested in. Tip number 7, get the easy marks extra credit. So if you look at your course outline at the beginning of the semester, you might see something like participation sometimes, depending on what program you're in, or some thing that's worth like little percentage, like 5 or a couple of percentage of your grade. And you might think that's not important, but it actually is because when you do the hard things like exams, essays, you can do not so well on those because you got all this other marks that were just gimme marks where you just had to complete something. It's not like difficult. You just have to hand something in. Sometimes teachers will get you to fill out a survey for like extra couple percentage. Make sure you do that. So, because every percentage point counts. Tip number 8, join Discord or group chats like Facebook, Messenger, Discord. This is helpful so that people in your class can chat about assignments, projects, exams, share notes. Just make sure not to copy each other's work, of course. But it's useful if you're stuck on something and then someone else might be stuck on the same thing, but then someone else in your class can explain it without just like giving them your work. Um, yeah, it's a good place to meet people in your class and yeah, help people out. Tip number 9, this is a big money saver. Find textbooks online. So some people, they prefer to have a physical textbook that they can open the pages, and that's fine if you like doing that. But I would prefer to get a used one because new ones can cost like hundreds of dollars. And for me, I just get all mine online for the most part. I've gotten like one textbook in 4 years. Um, it's free, so you just have to do some Googling and eventually you should be able to find a textbook somewhere online. And last tip, number 10, is read course or professor reviews. This is important as some professors are very low rated and you should probably avoid those, and some are highly rated and try to get into those classes if they're not full. And certain courses, same thing, they're harder or easier or more work, less work, more assignments, more projects. Make sure you take courses that where you have your strengths. So if you don't like group projects, try to avoid those, or you don't like presentations, avoid those. Um, and a good way to do this is actually go to the class, register for more classes than you're actually going to take, and then go to those classes the first week or so. Actually see how the course and professor is, because these ratings on like Rate My Prof can be biased. So if you actually get an in-person look at how the course or professor is, um, then you can choose and narrow down, okay, I'm going to take these 4 courses for the semester.